doing that again. I just want to sit with my legs crossed. Holy cow, this has been a process. Hi everybody! It's been a while since I have sat down and done one of these. My name is Jenny Ernst. If you've never been here before, then welcome. I vlog weekly about my life as a reserve flight attendant, and occasionally, not nearly as much as I would like, I sit down and do a video like this. Today's video is just going to be a frequently asked question. I have done one of these before. The link for that one will be down below. However, I have been getting a lot of new questions. I find that I'm repeating myself a lot in the comments or on messages. Some of these questions should be different. I believe most of them are different. I think one or two I may have briefly touched on either in a vlog or in my last frequently asked questions video or in my terminology video, which is also linked below. Let's get started. Do I have to pay for my own hotel rooms on layovers? And also, do we get our own rooms or do we have to share? No, we do not pay for the hotel rooms. The airlines have contracts with the hotels. It's all sorted out for us already. And no, we do not share hotel rooms. Could you imagine if I were the only female flight attendant and the other 2 or 3 flight attendants were males and I had to share a hotel room with one of them? No, everybody gets their own hotel rooms. Does the airline give us an allowance for our layovers? You see this a lot with European airlines or long haul airlines. Once they get to their destination for their layover, they are handed money, physical money that they can use right then and there. We do not get that. We get what's called a per diem that shows up in my paycheck. This varies from airline to airline, how much money you get, how they give it to you. I don't get an actual allowance or anything at the time, but we do get a per diem. I get asked a lot which aircraft I fly or what my favorite one is. I mostly fly on Airbus just because that is our largest fleet. We have mostly Airbus 319s, 320s, and 321s, and 330s. For the 330, we have both the 330-200 and the 330-300. I don't know what my favorite one would be though. I've flown Boeing a couple times, and I like how sturdy Boeings feel, but operating the Airbus doors is so much easier than operating a Boeing door. What's the difference between a reserve and a line holder? This is something that I cover definitely in my terminology video, and I think I briefly covered something along the lines of it in my last frequently asked questions video. A reserve is somebody that they are on call. And they only know what days they have off going into the month. Some airlines do it a little bit different. I know Delta, for example, their new hires or reserves, like they're not technical reserves, they just have 6 days a month that they have to be on call. And other than that, they do have actual trips going into each month. And that's what a line holder or a block holder is they're people that they go into the month and they know what trips or lines they are going to be working. They are never on call. They don't ever have to have their phone on them at all times just in case scheduling needs them. I also get asked how, like if I've ever been a line holder, or how long you have to be on reserve for. I've been with the company for 2 years. We recently, or last year, we got a new system and they're still kind of working out the tweaks for it. So with our old scheduling system, I probably would have held a line last summer. That did not happen because we have this new system. I should hopefully be able to hold a line over this summer. Fingers crossed. This is a fluid thing. Once you're a line holder, you're not necessarily strictly a line holder the rest of your time there. It's all based on seniority and how many reserves or line holders they need each month. So it changes. That varies though from base to base and with different airlines because they all have different policies and systems, and different bases have, like Philadelphia has more flight attendants than we do. DC doesn't have as many, so I know the people that are about the same seniority as me have held lines before, and so it all just depends on where you're located and which airline you work for. Now about bases or your location. I get asked a lot how I chose my base or if I got to choose it, and also like if I had to move, how did the relocation process work? You're picking a base is gonna be, again, based on seniority, but also availability. When I first came on the line 2 years ago, Charlotte didn't actually have any openings for flight attendants. Like people couldn't come in, they weren't allowing any transfers. So I had to spend my first month in Philadelphia. But I requested the transfer, and the following month, sorry, there's dust on my stand and it's really bothering me. Okay, so the following month, Charlotte did have openings. I put in my transfer and I got it. So I just spent 1 month in Philly, and I've been in Charlotte ever since. You request where you want to go, but it doesn't necessarily mean that you're gonna get it. When it came to moving, again, that's one of those things that's gonna change between different airlines. For us, when we first came on, they gave us 5 days from between training and when we had to be available to move. And that happens even if you change bases. If you request them, you'll get 5 days that you can move from one base to the other. The company does not reimburse you or pay for any of the relocating. Now, there are things, I mentioned this in my terminology video, there is what's called a commuter. Let's say you live in Jacksonville, Florida, which we have a lot of flight attendants that live in Jacksonville, but they are based in Charlotte or DC or Philadelphia. They fly in either earlier that day or the day before they have to work a trip. For reserves, you have to be in base when you're on call, so it's highly not recommended to commute and be a reserve. I know a lot of people that they just make it happen. Back in like December and January and February, I had a lot of people asking about this travel academy or something. Questions that I get are, should I do this or should I go to college, or I really want to be a flight attendant, but I don't know what to do until then. I've heard good things about this travel academy. From what I understand, it's basically, it's teaching you all of the basics, and so you're not going in, you have a general understanding of what it is going to be like already. I'm not going to tell you guys like what you should do, but personally, I wouldn't pay to go through essentially it's flight attendant training that you have to pay for. Every airline is going to put you through training, put you through their own specific training. And most of them are going to pay you for it. There are some, like I was not paid for during training, but there are airlines that will pay you. It's hard to answer because I don't want to tell anybody what to do, but I wouldn't want to pay for something that I'm gonna end up having to turn around and go through all over again. So that's just my opinion on it. I can imagine maybe if you don't have any sort of customer service experience or any experience in the travel and tourism industry, I can understand maybe then doing it. I think your first choice, which this actually goes into my next question, is what type of jobs or what have you, like what should you go to school for to help have a good resume to be a flight attendant. Some people asked whether they should do the travel academy or college, and I just would want a degree as backup because of working in the airline industry or being a crew member and living this lifestyle is one of those things where you really don't know if it's going to be for you until you do it. I know a couple people that they dropped out of school, like dropped out of college or didn't go to college at all to be a flight attendant, and now they realize they don't like this lifestyle and they regret it because now they have to go back to school. I'm happy that I have my degree. I do have a degree in tourism and travel from Western Michigan University, go Broncos. So I would recommend getting at least an associate's degree because then you have something. And then if you want to go be a flight attendant, then great. And if you love it, then awesome. But if you don't like it, at least you have something that you can fall back on. You're not having to start all over again. What should you go to school for? If being in the travel industry is something that you really want, then try to find like hospitality and tourism, which is what most universities are going to have. Not a lot of universities have something that specifically caters to tourism and travel. A lot of them are going to be a mix of hospitality and tourism because those kind of go hand in hand as well. Jobs, customer service. In training, they told us that they look for people that have a background working with people already, because most airlines don't focus on the customer service aspect in training. They focus on all of the emergency procedures and all the terminology and learning aircrafts, and that's essentially it. Like, that's training because there's a lot to learn. So a lot of these airlines look for people that already have a great customer service background. I worked in retail for years. I worked at a couple different restaurants, and then I did the Disney College program. So I was working in like the leader of tourism and hospitality and customer service. If you're trying to build your resume to be a flight attendant, I would just recommend focusing on jobs that have you interacting with people on a daily basis. Customer service, working in a hospital or restaurants, which that falls under customer service. Just something where you're interacting with the general public, because that is what flight attendants do. And I think that's pretty much it. I hope that I was able to answer the questions fairly well. Thank you very much for watching. If you liked it, don't forget to give it a thumbs up and subscribe so that way you know every time I put out a new video. All of my social media links are down below, as well as my previous video and my previous flight attendant frequently asked questions video and my flight attendant terminology video. Those are all down below. If you have any comments or questions, then as usual, you are more than welcome to ask, and I will try to respond to them as soon as I can. I hope you all are having a wonderful day, and I will see y'all soon. Bye! Poor little kid peed his pants. I felt so bad. He was such a trooper about it. He's like, we're going on 2 planes today, because they're sitting